Hi everybody, welcome back. We wanted to come back to the garden. We had talked about it in an earlier story time where we'd started to plant some rainbow chard. So we'll kind of get to see what's happening with that. But welcome to Muscoot Farms Garden. There's always been a garden here at Muscoot. It used to be up by the main house whenever the Hopkins ran it, and then for years and years and years it's been here. So the main purpose of our garden, we have a couple. One is that we use it for our summer camp, and number two, we like to donate the food that's grown here to local food banks. So we've already started to do that. We've donated some lettuce and some rainbow chard. Around like 40 pounds have already went into the local area for people who need it. So we'll get started. We'll kind of just look right here where we're at. And what we'll see here are a lot of tomato plants and basil plants. So if you like cooking pizza or anything like that, then this is a good area for you. And you can look down the row, and we're starting to put cages around them, and that helps keep them straight. And man, I wish you all could smell what this basil smells like, because it smells really, really good. So basil and tomatoes, and then we have like another row here, sort of the same situation. And then we've got a lot of basil and some peppers as well. So they all grow really well together. If you're wanting to plant something, I've always kind of learned that if they taste good together, then they plant well together. So that's a fun thing to know. So then over here, we'll start to see, these are chives. These are chives, and some of them have already kind of went to seed here. So you can collect seeds for growing chives next year. All these little things right here, these are chive seeds. So we can plant these into the ground, and then we'll get more chives. And what's good about chives is they come up every year. So that means that they're perennial plants. So, and then another one of my favorites that I wish you could smell is all of this. You see this green with the white flowers? This is cilantro. It's a beautiful plant. It's also a perennial. It comes up every year, and you can see a lot of it is coming up. And these little white flowers, what happens is once, I just showed you the chive seeds. Once the cilantro gets to this point, it's about ready to make seeds. And do you know what comes from cilantro? It is coriander. So it's a 2-for-1 plant. You get cilantro, and then you can get coriander as well. And so down this row here, we have some more cilantro and tomato plants, and even eggplant that we have down at the end there. And right behind us, you can see some cabbage that's getting close to being cabbage. You can see like in here, the big, like, you know how cabbage, it's like a head. This is almost there, so it'll get bigger and bigger. So that's a really cool thing. And right here is where we had some lettuce planted, but we harvested this. And I left the bottom part because hopefully if you let it get watered and another lettuce plant will come, because the roots are still in the ground. So we have a few here that we haven't harvested yet because they're still kind of tiny. This one's getting close. We could probably harvest this within a couple of days. But this is just lettuce, so you can take this and just eat it like a salad. So we have this, and then the garden's always kind of changing. It's kind of always in flux, and I'm about to get sprinkled by the sprinkler, and this helps us keep things nice and like watered whenever the summer has been very, very dry. So we have some other cool things here. This has got a funny name. This is called dino kale. It's just a large variety of kale, and whenever you harvest kale, you don't just cut the whole plant out. You take a leaf off the end like this, and then that's how you eat kale. So then you can, I'm not a big kale eater, so you'll probably have to comment what you do with this, but I know you can put it in salads and you can make kale chips and all that. So we've got more peppers that are down this row. And then I'll show you some more. We have actually harvested some of this lettuce here, but this is probably my favorite lettuce of all time. This is actually called Joker lettuce, and it's got these purple and green leaves. It's a very pretty looking kind of lettuce. So with this, whenever you harvest it, you can take the whole head. So you would cut like right here and then pull that whole head of lettuce off. And if you keep coming down here, you'll see more lettuce. This is the summertime lettuce that we planted. So this is about ready to go. Then we have another herb here. This is good for making pickles. So you may know what this is already, but this is called dill, and it smells just like a pickle. And then we go right here. We're still kind of waiting on this. This is going to be a plant, like a flower. Anybody have a guess at what these may be? These are going to be sunflowers. So this will be really pretty in a couple of weeks. And then right here is one of my favorite things in the whole garden are these plants right here. These purpley and green plants. And believe it or not, these are potato plants. Once you start to grow them, you take an eye from a potato, you plant it, and these plants grow from that eye, and then after a while you start to dig around the roots and there'll be potatoes there, which is really, really cool. So over on this side we've got corn that's starting to grow, and corn has got many uses obviously, but this right here is a corn plant. So corn grows on what's called a stalk. So this is a corn stalk, and then before too long it'll start to grow ears of corn. And we have other things growing. We're waiting for them to go. That's why we have the sprinkler going right now. We have beets, carrots, radishes, and then over here we'll kind of have to dodge in between the sprinkler, but you can see onions that are growing, and then that's our rainbow chard that we planted with you when we read a story. So we've got rainbow chard growing, and we harvested some of that the other day. And then if you look further, you'll start to see kind of some trees and shrubs. And it's very important to me that in this garden we have all different kinds of pollinators. So we have different trees that are planted in here. This is kind of what we call a forest garden. So you can see right now lots of bees, there's dragonflies, there's all different kinds of pollinators that are using this right now. So we have bumblebees, and this plant's called Virginia Rose, and you can see the bumblebees really, really like it. The big tree that's right in front of us here, that's a pawpaw tree, and it will grow a fruit at some point. We have a couple other pawpaw trees that are behind us here. And so yeah, there's all different kinds of things that are growing, and you may be able to even get a good look at this rainbow chard, and you may see right away why we call it rainbow chard. It's got these really pretty reds and yellows here, and the same thing, these leaves come off. You grab it kind of at the end here, pull this off, and that's how you harvest. So now we have almost a full salad. We've got some rainbow chard and we've got some kale. And we walk back here, we have these A-frames, as they're called, and what we're hoping happens are we have some plants over here that are called cucumbers, and these plants like to climb. So what's going to happen here are these plants are going to climb up this A-frame, and then we'll have other things like the cucumbers will actually grow from hanging down, which is pretty cool. And lastly, in the garden, you'll see a couple of these plants, and believe it or not, these are raspberry plants. And so what you're starting to see are the beginnings of raspberries. We work in the garden every day. There's all different kinds of things to do. We have to do a lot of weeding. We have to do a lot of watering. We have to do harvesting, which is what this was here. And we have to make sure that there aren't a lot of like bad bugs in the garden. So in the garden there are good bugs and there are bad bugs. And we don't ever put pesticides or anything that would harm any of the animals here at the farm. So it's a lot of walking around and making sure that there aren't a lot of holes in the plants or anything like that. And if you look right here, you can see that there is a bug that is on this leaf, and it just flew away, but that's probably the bug that was making these holes here. So it's fine. We picked it, and we'll wash this off, and then you can eat it right away. Again, I really hope you enjoyed your time with us in the garden, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back in here again when we start to get some tomatoes and other things growing. All right, see you later.